Congratulations.
Thank you.
For your preferment to serve the gateway of the economy, like we say, the National Port Authority. Let's begin by understanding, first of all, how you met the port. First of all, how did you feel when the confidence of the president was reposting you to serve at the NPA?
Man, thank you. When I got the call from the president, like I always say, it's been an honor of a lifetime. I mean, grew up here. I'm from Lofa County.
Okay.
My people settled in Swamaka District, Bomi. Eventually, I'm a Bomi citizen now. President called and said, "Hey, I got a tax, and I believe you can help." And I always say, when the president calls, I mean, who are you?
I know that.
As children, I mean, obedient children, when your father calls you to serve, the answer, especially serving Mama Liberia, of course, the answer is always yes, will and always be yes. So yes, I accepted the job, thanked him, and pledged to him that I was going to lead with nothing but absolute integrity, dedication, and hard work, and that's what we've done.
Yeah, and he always says that on his releases of appointments.
Yes. Yes.
So
and then yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, and then you talked about how we met the port.
Yeah,
we met the port in very tough spots, challenging bloated payrolls, dilapidated infrastructure, just real-time challenges. I mean, electricity, 24-hour lack of 24-hour electrification of the port. You can't talk about a whole port without, going in and out, like here and there, sometimes 8 hours, 16 hours. When we talk about ports in the 21st century, in emerging economies, we need to make sure they are operating 24-hour. And that 24-hour requires sustained electricity, or stable electricity, stable and cheaper electricity. So those are challenges that we met at the port. Technology, we're supposed to be able to sit down in Monrovia and see what's going on around the country. Yes, on a dashboard, you're supposed to see exactly what's going on at the Port of Buchanan, what's going on at the Afro Ross port in Sino, what's going on at the Port of Harper, Maryland. So those are challenges that we met. We are addressing those as we go.
Okay. So when you uncover these challenges, I mean, where did you start from in the first place? Well, which ones were the priorities?
Priorities number one, when you inherit a business, I come from private equity, accounting background. When you inherit a business, what do you do? You look at where you make easy gains. Payroll. Okay. Payroll, that's easy. I mean, in a normal Western stable society, the easy cost is payroll. I don't know if you can remember the last 2 years of presidents we had administration, when they thought they were going to be re-elected, but we called it the great exit. They hire people who they thought were going to vote for them in the election. So their way of solving the economic problem in our country was to say, you know what, we'll pay the government payroll so that at least those people will vote for us. But
so it was intentional.
It was, of course, it was intentional. Across industries, across government agencies and the ministry, they padded the payroll. Bill Terry and his crew met it about 359 to 400, including the contractors. When we inherited that, it's over 2,000. So more than 500% increment. Diana Neville, the former MD, in the last 1.5 years, one and a half years, MD hired more people than Bill in 3.5 years. So those are challenges we're having. And we also understand that we can't just run it as a business now. It's a social corporate institution. So we've gradually started looking at those payroll. We went to our board with sustained measures in making sure those numbers go down. And you hear from us by the time our GAC audit is concluded, our personnel audit is done, we'll have to make some tough choices. But yes, payroll number one. Coupled with lack of technology, and again, the cost of energy or electricity. Yes.
So we've understood the issue of personnel, how you taking action following the audit to reduce, but would it hamper the entire operations of the port if you reduce the manpower, for example?
I've said no. I mean, we over here in Monrovia, like I said, the 90% of our operation is conducted by APM terminals, our largest concession there in the port. So basically, the National Port Authority here in Monrovia is babysitting APM terminal. So we are just there to collect our royalties on that concession, and we collect leases. Rent from tenants who are renting our warehouses and buildings that are in the port. So no, we basically, if you are to put the numbers in the trenches, we need about 200 people. I would say 150 to 200 people based on analytics that we looked at. So
to run the port effectively.
The entire national port authority, but it's over capacitated by more than 1,000%.
At the end of the people doing 10 persons doing almost the same job.
More than 10%. You walk into an office, you see about 16 people sitting in the office. And I'm not joking. I would say someone will go to a printer. You have 3 persons assigned to a printer. One person will hand the paper over to. It's not a joke, Mr. Kumar. They'll hand it to their friend. The printer prints it. Someone pulled it out, and then the other person put it in the folder. So those are challenges, real-time challenges we're having at the National Port Authority.
Let's talk. You talk about technology.
Yes.
Before we come to electricity, frequent electricity at the port. Technology-wise, what have you done?
We are working on procuring automation and digitalization of the ports. The president promised that his administration is going to follow all the laws. So we have to follow PFM law, public finance laws, PPCC laws. So over the next several days, now that we have a budget approved by our dynamic board, we will be procuring for port automation and eventually digitizing our platforms.
When all that is done, how will the port be transformed?
Man, first we'll be able to get real-time information. So take, for example, we go to APM terminal and say, hey, we want to know on what basis are you paying off maybe $200,000 a month. By right, APM not supposed to, we didn't supposed to get that information from APM terminals. Our M&E and planning department is supposed to have that information. Then we go to APM and say, hey, based on ABCD, we think the 200 you're giving on a month is not enough because we have those hard data. So we'll be able to get data, real-time data on the daily basis. We're supposed to know how many ship comes in, how many containers are coming to the country, the categories of those containers. We are looking to bring a scanner into the port to help our folks at LRA with on the declaration on revenue, which is affecting all of us. So yes, it's going to bring the port up to today's reality. It's cool. If you compare ourselves to Sierra Leone or Guinea or Ghana, their ports are automated and fully digitized.
So as it stands now, you depend on the data from
our customers, our concessionaires,
APM terminal, for example,
GTMS.
So you don't have authority over your own data.
It's fair to say we do not.
What's the challenge there?
The challenge is capacity and lack of technology. So capacity comes to having the right people in the right places.
So if you get your data, if you set up the system where you can have your own data real time.
Yes, sir.
You will be able to challenge APM terminals, for example, for what they need to do.
Not only APM terminals, investors looking to come into the country will ask you how many TEUs your country is doing every year. That will be how many containers are coming, how many 24 containers are coming into the country every year. How much are you exporting? Those are data that they rely on to make informed business decisions, investment decisions. The World Bank, our biggest partner, the United States government, USAID, they're looking to help they need raw data from the MPA so that they can make decisions on. And most of the time we don't have we are scrambling, we are going back looking for them. So the goal is over the next couple of months, once procurement goes through, the ports are fully automated. We have digitization at our back, our finance, PR people, everything is running real time. We should be able to provide, should be able to sit down somewhere in Danta and ask my people, finance, pull out this document for me, ask my planning department. I need statistics on ABCD and get it in maybe 5-10 minutes.
Is the lack of technology currently at the port sometimes can give rise to things like corruption?
Yes.
Misapplication of some funds and all that.
Yes.
Is it happening?
Of course, yes. It's happening. We took unprecedented decisions when we got in. We dismissed sincere management officials. And I say, you can tell me in 2024, roughly, that in Liberia, the National Port Authority, the gateway to the economy, using manual spreadsheet to report their finances. Why do people do that? There's absolutely no reason. in small business in the US and somewhere in Ghana will have QuickBooks. They will have software that can generate that information instantly. But people do it on purpose so that they can be able to take other people's resources. So that when you're doing it by hand, it takes time. Sometimes this data is destroyed.
Yeah.
We got there. We can't find vouchers. We can't find procurement documents. So how do you do an audit when you can't find statements? Banks account have not been reconciled in more than 3 to 5, almost 5 years. No bank reconciliation. So you don't even know what's on your bank statements, exactly what's in the bank account, what happened to transitory accounts and so forth. So yes, people do it manually because, of course, the overall intent is to defraud the institution.
The installation of these modern technologies as part of the reform process at the port comes with constant electricity.
Yes.
And you were talking about electricity as one of the challenges. Where are we with that?
What we're doing, and then I've been discussing with senior management, and we'll go back to our board. We are thinking about building a 2 to 5 megawatt plant, power plant at National Port Authority. Take, for example, APM Terminals, which is having an off-the-record conversation when we tour the facility. They are spending about $6 million on. They have a 500 kVA generator. In between fuel and maintenance is about $6 million a year. And that $6 million is coming right out of royalty that's supposed to come to the Liberian people. Yes, it's that serious. So now we do cost benefit analysis. I mean, if it costs me $5 to $10 million to get a 5 megawatt capacity, and think about that 5 megawatt capacity can supply all the businesses in the port, including APM terminals, including ship that were docked here. Normally in other developed countries, most West African countries, when the ship comes in, they need to turn their engine off and use the power that we have. We sell the power to them.
Okay.
But in Liberia, we are not doing that because we are under capacitated when it comes to our energy sources.
So if you build that plant,
yes,
you can be able to sell power.
Sell power to all of our concessionaires and our lessees and tenants, and also sell to maybe our neighbors. Neighbor communities like Bellima, like the Do community, or maybe Vita. Yeah. So I don't want to say, I'm going to electrify this place. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is at least to serve us, ourselves, and our tenants in the port, our major concessionaire and tenants in the port.
So what's the status of that plan?
That is just in the discussion. Preliminary stages.
Okay.
The goal is we had someone come in and do an assessment. Now, if you go full solar, or you need about 10 to 15 acres of land to put all this plates. So solar may not work easily. It could be a combination of solar and natural gas. But waiting for the first person to come back and report to us on what's next.
Okay.
Yes.
MD, you oversee other smaller ports.
Yes,
let's say, for example, Buchanan.
Yes.
Greenville, Harper. Do you know their statuses?
Yes.
Can you bring us up to speed?
Yes. They are in bad shapes. All over. Like I said.
Like central office. When you
worse. Worse. On a serious note, worse. Buchanan happened to be our second largest port in the country. We have a multi-billion-dollar concession partner, ArcelorMittal. We combined with us haven't done anything at that port for as long as I can remember. A couple of weeks ago, there was serious erosion of the breakwaters out there. The basin is getting full with debris from the Atlantic Ocean. Normally, people dredge they do manual dredgings every 2 years, and you do full dredging in 5 years. I can't remember when the last dredging was done at Buchanan. It's fair to say at least 5 years. We have a port where we have the administrative building right on the main pier. There was a day where when the tide rose, the water entered the port, our administrative office. Yes. So it's risky. It's also risky for the safety of our staff and pose users and security and everything else. So we have plans to move that building from there and then redesign the port, redo the master plan of the port. That's going to align with our country master plan for the next 25 to 50 years. And then move and then build a new administrative building in Buchanan. As you can see, Buchanan is going to be the new Freeport eventually, if everything adds up.
I mean, you say that ArcelorMittal is the biggest partner to the port of Buchanan.
Yes, sir.
Can they play a role in your reform process, especially at Buchanan?
Simple, yes. Just pay us fair dues, a fair share of what you're supposed to pay us. They are claiming that concession, and we've looked at that, and then our lawyers have argued with ArcelorMittal. They are claiming in the MDA with the Madam Salif government included their free usage of the Port of Buchanan. Those are assertions that we do reject categorically. Our lawyers are looking at that. Their interpretation of that law, we are thinking is supposed to mean that pay for the pier that you're using, pay for way bridges. You're supposed to pay royalties on the iron ore you export out of the country by using our port. So there are ongoing discussions or negotiations. We'll reactivate our monthly meeting with them. That was dormant for the last 5 years. We'll be in Buchanan tomorrow, meeting with the ArcelorMittal people.
Tomorrow
Thursday, yeah. My team and I.
So that's how urgent it is.
It's very urgent. I mean, we elevated that when we got in right out of the gate that we needed to meet a review everything. Marine services in Buchanan, we haven't gotten paid. There was a scandal there on one of the former MDs. Since then, no one has paid the National Port Authority any royalty for using our marine services there. They don't pay anchorage fees when ships are in our international water. They anchor down there. They send barges to take the iron ore there. No one has paid us a dime. We told them that we're taking that very seriously. We started negotiation amicably to see how that could be resolved. If not, then our country is a country of laws. We intend to follow the laws, to just hold it accountable. So yes, Arcelor can play a huge role if they just pay their fair share of what they're supposed to pay the National Port Authority, and then we'll go from there.
The challenges are enormous because you have the free port already that you have. You're struggling. You're trying to reform. Then you have the port of Buchanan faced with a lot of challenges.
Yes.
Can you handle
real-time challenges?
Can you handle the both?
At
the same time in your reform process, and the same audit that you spoke of at the free port, are you going to conduct same at Port of Buchanan?
Yes, it will be a comprehensive audit of the National Port Authority comprising of the Buchanan Port, the Sino Port, and the Harper Port in Maryland.
Why is it necessary to do that?
The audit?
Yeah.
To inform the people of what we inherited. I mean, when you take over an institution that's supposed to be at least, I mean, when you do a fair evaluation, if we're even meeting target or at capacity, I think it's $100 million institution easily. But it's meagerly underperforming at about 35, 36, maybe 40 million if you hype it up. Yeah, I can tell you that. Of course, I want to tell our boss, the president, where we met it. And, you know, the president worked for you people. The Liberian people, he wants to also tell the Liberian people that I met Freeport in this state. This is the state I met it in. Then we can report progress from there year by year or quarter by quarter. So yes, the audits are necessary. The assessments are necessary. So pictures online will tell you. I can sit here right now. My people from Sano, Greenville, send me a picture of the Afro-Ross port in Greenville. Offices are leaking. We've started rehabilitating some of those offices. I have pictures here I will share with you after the show to just tell you that there was neglect of our infrastructure by the previous administration. Yes.
We know ArcelorMittal to be the biggest partner at the port of Buchanan. What about Sano?
Sano will have Golden Valorum.
Okay.
We have a couple of logging companies. Yes. GV is the biggest in Sano.
But is the government getting a fair share of their usage?
We are getting the share. I don't know about fair. No. We are getting the share, a very minute share. The goal is to review, like the president said, all concessions, all contract, all agreements will be reviewed. We are at the MPA. We are analyzing, not only analyzing, but also reviewing all of our agreements, our leases, our contracts. The board have approved or set up a subcommittee that will be reviewing contracts and agreements and concessions, just to make sure that, when you sign that, you'll get 10 cents per square footage, or you'll pay 10 cents per square footage to rent a warehouse. It's actually 10 cents per square footage. When you build that warehouse, the 2-story building, that goes to 25 cents. We'll look at that and make sure that you're paying that 25 cents, not just sticking to that 10 cents prior to developing the property. Because people will come over there at the port and take 2 acres of land. Undeveloped property rates is different from developed property. Here nobody checks on anybody. They'll take that property in 2 years down to be a 10-story building. They're doing that business there quietly and not pay anything. Yeah. When someone asks a question, they take care of you on the side.
Imagine if you put all these reforms together.
Yes.
The operational aspect of all of the ports. Ensure that the partners, whether it's APM Terminals, it's ArcelorMittal,
yes,
Golden Beryllium, all these people, they do as the fair share I was talking about. Imagine if everything goes along.
Yep.
How much you think the government will be able to generate, or the port will be able to? We'll come to the 2 million in 6 months. I really want to know the secret and the magic. Yes. But let's say if you put all these reforms together,
yes,
government gets fair share.
So you're talking about if the government make the right investments, right?
Yes.
And our customers in the port, who users are paying the required fees, right?
Yeah.
I think the product is worth easily 50 to 75 million
annually.
The port can generate annually. But again, it's under capacity because we haven't done anything at all. So we're just sitting there waiting for someone to give us a handout. But if we make the right investment, put the right reforms in place, we believe in 2 to 5 years that we can go to more than 50 million easily. Easily.
With all the leakages there, how much are we generating annually?
Right now, with the current, we're about 30. Let's say 35 million. And I'll average it to about between 33 to 35.
From all of the ports.
Yes, all the 4 ports. That's our estimated gross revenue annually. Let's average it to about 35 million a year.
Wow. You've given us an idea about.
And I'm sorry for you. Don't forget again, we are just a landlord here in Monrovia. We are not doing any operation. So that's what we've been preaching to policymakers, to lawmakers. We've been stealing some of the president's time to just let him know that, hey, Mr. President, if you help us, we can. If we get an investor to come and do maybe a BOT in Buchanan, or we can do a public-private partnership in Buchanan, we believe the new Freeport can, over time, go to Grand Bassa County. But don't forget, we talked about to achieve all of that, we need stable and cheaper electricity to do that.
With that, I was asking about, you've already given us an idea about how you want to make the Freeport of Monrovia have stable and electricity.
Yes.
What about the other ports?
Of course, we'll duplicate that. If it's working here, just copy and paste it. It doesn't have to be that big here. If we do 2 to 5 megawatt capacity here in Monrovia, the goal will be to maybe do 2 megawatt in Buchanan. Then 2 across the 4 ports. And the port of Harper, Maryland is an interesting one. Over the years, we've had the people from St. Pedro, the Ivory Coast, reach out. If you look at the map, looking at it, their proximities, they've reached out to us and say, hey, if you guys develop your port, this is unofficial. We are over capacity. There are vessels hanging on our international water for averaging 2 weeks to maybe a month. If you are to just do the right investments in that port and put the right facility and the right people there, you can take maybe 10-20% of this traffic. Of course, yes. Those requests have been made to our government, to the past government. No one did anything about it. So we, over the last couple of months, you can hear that I've been all over the place. Yes, we've sent our executive director for Ports and Harbor and government one of our governmental people, to the Ivory Coast twice to establish contact with the folks at San Pedro, and we will be following up on those communications and just making sure that the right decisions are made.
But you are interested in that deal?
Of course, yes. Any day, anytime. Yes, we are 100% interested in that deal. Anything that can bring money into our country, to our central government, to the national port authority, that we can make contribution to the central government. So we take that one any given day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if it's Sunday or Friday. We'll be there answering those calls.
But to do that is to do what they want you to do.
Yes.
Upgrade your port.
Upgrade the port first. So the depth over there is about 5 meters. Normal port will be between 9 to 14 meters. That's even 7, because the bigger the shape, the deeper.
Yeah.
You need your port to be dredged for them to darken, to come in. Yes.
Talking about dredging.
Yes.
When the last time the free port of Monrovia was dredged? You said Buchanan 5 years.
Yep. The port of Monrovia about 4 years ago, and maintenance dredging was done 2 years. So you dredge it, and then every 2 years you do maintenance dredging.
So right now it really doesn't need to be dredged at this time.
Not right now. We've looked at that, but I mean, coming early into next year, we'll be talking to our technical people to look at the depth of that port. Yeah.
Let's come to the newest sensation on the block. 2 million in six months.
Yes.
I was reading and I read a document that says that the past administration raised 4 million in 6 years.
They contributed 4 million in 6 years.
Yeah, their contribution.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you can raise.
You can raise, yes.
But you can limit your contribution to the budget.
Yes.
And that can be intentional.
It can be intentional. So yes, it can be intentional.
So let's talk about.
So let's say let's do some math here. You made 35 million a year times 6. That's about 210 million.
But yes, still
in 6 years. And all your contribution to the national budget was 4 million. And we came in 6 months. We raised about 14 million. We have about $6 million in the bank right now.
In the post account.
In the post account right now, to speak to you. That's real-time information I'm giving you. And out of those 6 million, since we have so many payroll challenges and technological challenges, we say, you know what? We need to help our government. The legislature assessed 5 million to us. The Ministry of Finance, assessed 5 million. We made a commitment of 2 million on that assessment. So almost halfway. And that would be from not even 6 months. That's from January to the end of May, because we don't have June number yet. So let me correct that. Yeah, so in 5 months.
5 months.
5 months.
So
the way it works here, at the end of the month, then we'll close our book. Then we'll get June information, maybe the end of first week in July.
What happened there? What were the things you worked on to raise that amount?
Simple. Just close the revenue leakages and streamline your expenses. Meaning, in Buchanan, there were vessels coming. If you remember, we removed 2 staff, senior management staff from there as soon as we got in, because there were vessels coming, docking in there, and then people were building that vessel. Maybe half. We'll build a vessel 200,000, and you tell the boat, say, you report 100,000. So right now at the port, if a vessel is to dock today and they owe the port 25,000, that 25,000 will go into MPA account. So those are some of the leakages we close. On the revenue side, on the expense side, we've been making some very tough decisions. And I always tell my people, if we see the place over capacity there, and we have this huge payroll cost, so don't come talk to me about buying you 10 reamer sheets. We don't need it. And I always remind my office staff and my senior management team, don't forget, it's the Liberian people money. We are custodian of that money, and we are accountable to making sure we're making the right decisions, and we are truthfully reporting what we have and what we are using, and we should be very conscious of those decisions. So yes.
So what does it take to take those decisions? Because again, it boils down to
willpower, leadership. I tell you, and I always say,
why are you taking it and your predecessors didn't take it?
My president is serious.
You're trying to be political.
No, he said no business as usual. When you come here, you do funny stuff, I'll embarrass you. No, he says it in private. When you come here, you play with the labyrinth money, I'll embarrass you. So, of course, I don't want to be embarrassed. And so the goal is to just come there. When you take public service job is to serve with integrity. Truthfully, the MPA is one of the best paying institutions in the country. That's why everybody wants to work there. And I tell people, look around our country. I come from one of the poorest villages in Burma. Being in Monrovia is a privilege. Working at the National Budgetary on the president staff, I mean, it's even an honor to discharge those responsibilities. I need to make sure that I'm very conscious of every decision I'm making on a daily basis. I'm not entitled to anything. I'm not any better than you or my cousins are in the interior. And I always say, I mean, change, luck, opportunity, that doesn't make you to just come in and do runaway spending with the people money. No. Yes. So yeah, leadership. And we believe in the president's leadership. His astute leadership over 6 months. Just leading our country. You can see the country is calm. I mean, we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but I can tell you, he's steady, smart, strong, understand what he's talking about, know what he's doing. So, I mean, we're following him. So if you see he cut his budget by more than about 50%, definitely I'm not going to come to the MPA and buy a bunch of new cars. No, we haven't done any of that. Matter of fact, in 6 months. When we came to approved procurement document on my decks already, I said, no, let's sit down, let's understand the product first.
Can you commit to consistency?
Of course.
In your contribution to the national budget?
That's a tricky one, but yes. But you ever said talk about a lot of things here right now that we're going to do that cost money, right? So if the board were to approve, and this would be something that we need approval on, and say, I can commit to that, because you know what? The finance ministry and the the legislature would definitely assess us an amount that they think we should contribute. So what the finance ministry assesses and what the legislature assesses are different. But when they assess average 5 million, I can commit to making those contributions. Yes.
Annually, you can commit to contributing to the national budget in the tune of how many million?
That's hard to say. I would say whatever assessment, because what they do is they look at our budget, they look at our capital expenditure, recurring ones, and make those decisions. And I can tell you that whatever assessment we have, that will be based on the budget they will look at. We will be fully committed in living to those commitments. Yes.
And you said when you close all of the loopholes, all of the leakages, yes, in a year's time, you can be able to raise 35 million.
A little more than that, I think.
From all of the ports.
Yes, all of the ports. A little more than that. So if we made the right investments, I think we can bump it up to about 50 years in 2 to 5 years. I think so. Yes. Okay. And grow from there.
You're listening to the Super Morning Show. I'm very amazed by the ambitious plan that you have. In fact,
yes,
when I saw that the port, not you as an individual, contributed 2 million in a split of 5 months.
Yes, sir.
I was calculating how in a split of 12 months. I just imagine how
yes,
in 6 years,
yes, so
how much you will contribute to the national budget.
Yes, we can do the 5 million easily. I believe we'll be able to do the 5 million this year, minimum 5. The legislature says 7. I mean, we'll be able to reconcile those two in negotiations with them. We have aggressive growth, rehabilitation, reform agenda that costs money. But I believe we'll be able to do the 5 million this year.
What's your overall vision for the ports?
Very good. Easy. Just, I wouldn't even say bring it to pre-war status. Pre-war status was way back there. I mean, we're in 2024. We want a port. We want the new free port to be the MRU port, where the cost of doing business will be the cheapest, where they will use, free port will be free, like Lomé, Togo. It will be a transitory port for West Africa. It will be one of the most attractive ports in West Africa. We'll have a tourist pier at the free port. I mean, other countries, I mean, right now, if you have a private boat, you don't have somewhere to dock in Monrovia. We want to make sure to improve our infrastructure so that we can incorporate those things, so that our port can be a tourist destination. I mean, we have one of the most beautiful landscape in the sub-region. I mean, we are strategically positioned, one of the nicest beaches in Africa, in the world. To be able to leverage the full potential of those beaches and infrastructure, we need a port that can dock tourist vessels, speedboats, and ferries, and so forth. We don't have it yet. So, in short, that's our vision, to make the free port of Monrovia the MRU port.
The MRU, you mean the Mano River Unit?
The Mano River Unit, yes.
So
stretching it out of that will be too far. What I believe that's a good start. That's a good start, yes.
You're listening to the Super Morning Show with me, Vafle Kamara. My guest is the managing director, very youthful managing director of the National Port Authority, Honorable Sekou Dukuly. He's on the show this morning. Quite interesting, things happening at the port. I mean, it's one thing to have these visions, these plans.
Yeah.
Do your staff cultivate the same working spirit that you have?
That's a work in progress. That is a work in progress. In this new dispensation, I mean, we inherited over about 2,000 people, and we also made some new accommodations so that the offices, our technical offices, can run smoothly. I can confidently tell you that, yeah, my senior management will be able to drive that vision for us. I mean, are we there yet? No. Are we going to make some adjustments as we go? Of course, yes. That's what we're supposed to do. But for me to sit out here confidently and make these assertions to you, or these statements to you, of course, I have people behind me who I trust. So we have one of the most diverse and educated boards. We have a very high performing team. I have 2 strong deputies and their staff working. I mean, NPA work is operational 7 days a week. I'm telling you. You see these men here with me. I mean, they follow me wherever I go. They believe in the president's vision. They believe in our vision for the national port authority. So yes.
Let's talk security.
Yes.
The basis for the protection of all of your assets.
Yes.
Have you? I mean, how did you meet it, and where is it right now? Do you have the kind of security?
We made the port ISPS compliant. On the physical security side, the Liberian Seaports Police, when we got in, there were some problems. We removed some people. There were cartels at the port. People always say there are cartels here and there. And security have improved. Our access pass system have been automated. So to get access into the port now, I mean, we need your information. I mean, it's automated. So with that, at least we know who's coming in and going out. Or you haven't heard any warehouse broken into. There were 1 incident, I believe, 1 or 2. They are still under investigation. There were not much significant loss of, people, goods. But I can tell you, since we flagged those and made some staffing adjustments, we haven't had that happen yet.
But do you have the manpower?
We do have the manpower. Matter of fact, if I tell you, roughly those 2,000 people are part. I mean, the LSP are part of that. 2,000 people. So yes, we have the manpower.
Yep. That's a major concern, because in the past it was frequent.
It was frequent.
Burglaries and all that.
Yes.
So and everything part of the leakages that existed.
Yes. And I said that were done. Most of them, from intelligence that we have on our hand, were done intentionally. Was done to defraud poor users and steal their properties. Again, like I said to you, everything starts with the right leadership. By just removing 1 or 2 people from here and there and repositioning and transferring people, we were almost there. So the port is secure to do business.
Okay.
Very secure.
A strong line of confidence there.
Yes.
From not just Liberians, but your international
partners. International partners. We are ISPS compliant. We intend to remain ISPS compliant, because if you are not compliant, flags changes the port code to maybe orange. We are green. You want to remain green. When you green, meaning IMO, international organizations consider your port safe. That reduces your vessel cost. When it's orange or yellow or red, that puts you in bad book. So we take that security aspect very, very, very seriously. And in fact, those are areas that we made training very frequent since we got in. We send our people to Ivory Coast, I believe, to Cameroon, the leadership there, and they've come back and then started training their staff.
Yes. Everything on human resource development,
capacity building, HR development. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. NPA MD, the managing director of the National Port Authority, Honorable Sekou Dukuly. MD, let's take some calls. Listen to the people. What do they think?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So call us on 07705818886 770581888 886 0886 9317444 07705818886 and be live on the show this morning. Let's listen to this first caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kamara.
Good morning. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kiro Pakala from the Mamba Belt.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, good morning to the L-Potent MD and congratulations for your preferment by the president.
Thank you, Mr. Parker.
To the ports of Bikana and Hapo. Monrovia ports is very congested. What is your plan that we can expand our facilities to the two remaining ports? Okay. Like you said yesterday, the Ivorian counterparts told you about the port in Hapo.
Yes.
Your immediate plan towards that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. MD, you respond to them, just jot them down.
Okay.
Let's hear from this caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Vavle, and also good morning to our energetic UFO MD of the Freeport Monrovia.
Yeah, let's hear you, sir. Your name?
Thank you, Vavle. This is Morris Moses Mongai, and I am the national chairman for the Broadcast School think tank. I call you from Jacobstown. You know, Vavle, when the president took the decision to appoint Mr. Dukuly, trust me, I said to myself, this young guy, will he be able to take on the mantle of authority without challenging institution? But today he has served quite so well. He has done extremely well in trying to elevate one of our growth sectors within the economy. But Mr. Dukuly,
yes, sir.
Let me say this.
Yes.
You people need to encourage the president, because this president, we are behind this president, we have been behind him, and we know the vision the president has for this country.
Yes.
You need to encourage the president to invest hugely into the growth sector. Look at your projection.
Yes.
If all of our posts are carry up to real status,
yes,
who can be able to generate 35 million?
50 million. 50 million.
He said 50.
Look at that.
50.
That is a huge potential for growth.
Yes.
So we need to invest hugely into those sectors to be able to promote the national budget. Look at, you just said, the projector you made, I think you took away February.
Yes.
February to May is like 4 months. You have given $2 million to the national budget.
Yes.
We want to say thank you. We appreciate you. Our view in making sure that you do the right thing for our country, in making sure that the dreams of the national budget is promoted, because you have been doing well.
Okay, Morris. Morris, we have to hold you there.
Thank you, Morris.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Thank you, Brother Vavle. Good morning to you, and good morning to everyone the National Port Authority.
Yeah, let's hear you, sir.
My name is Hussein Keo. I call from around Jacobstown. Brother Vavle, thank you for bringing the MD on this morning, and I must appreciate him for the work he has done thus far. But I have this concern. You know, I listen to many platforms, and I listen to some and who been generated that are said on the platform continuously that Mr. Dukuly is out of the country almost every week now, and they justify that he go on his personal and private business. Mr. Dukuly, I want you to clear that myth that has been spread on different platforms. Even with credible journalists that we call them credible journalists, I think they're on the platform. Like, leave the national port authority and out of country doing personal business.
Okay. Thank you. Frequent travels. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, this is Daniel out there. I want to say thank you to your studio guests, our potent MD. But my concern is the high cost at the port. One container, and sometimes
people come in with their containers, then they will compare you to go have someone who will be a middleman. They call you broker, and then they try to inflate everything and hardship on people.
Okay.
I don't know what is his plan towards that.
Okay, he will respond to that. Let's hear from you. Koba Pasa will go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning, Koba.
And good morning to your guest, Honorable Sekou Dukuly.
Morning.
I'm calling a conversation this morning for my office, and let me just appreciate the MP for his work. I followed the press conference yesterday, and he's trying to transform the national authority that is the gateway to the economy. So the fact that a young man who has passion for this country was given an opportunity to serve, I think he's serving with distinction. He tried to change the narrative that young people cannot be trusted with leadership. He has transformed the MPA in less than 6 months. If you go at the MPA at night, you see a different country. So I don't call this morning to appreciate him for some media work he's doing for the country. He should continue. I know there will be a distraction at times because a lot of people will envy him because they said before they didn't perform the way he performed it. He should wear a very thick jacket to perform in order tomorrow somebody else can recommend him to different or pick up position in society. So I just call it morning to appreciate him for his hard work. Thank
you very much. We'll take this caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Good morning to the MG.
Okay, let's hear you.
I'm Wesley and joining from my friend community. And I want to say a big thank you to the MD for the right entry at the port. You know that last September we were in the Puku water only camping for the Kwame because we knew that the Kwame was too better for the Nigerian people. MD, this has been joined to the allegation against you. I really want you to clear our doubt of Nigerian. Yesterday on station radio, they said you travel too much. Before you travel, you can sack somebody. Then you travel because you want for embarrassment to come on your way. After that, you come and so pick that for office.
Okay, you will address yourself to that. Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Yeah, morning. Quickly.
And I make a pleasant good morning to the MP of the MP. My name is David Kuyaname. And I follow the conversation with my two community residents. With MD, I want to appreciate the incredible work we are doing at the big board of Monrovia. There will also be criticism for the level of transformation in a relative short period of time at the MPA. It's a whole lot. I live very close to the MPA, and I'm a testimony of the fact that at the night hour, the MPA is electrified unlike previous years. That demonstrates some level of leadership.
Yes.
So the leadership trajectory, we are proceeding on. I encourage you to do more.
Thank you.
And when I listen to your vision, the vision says a whole lot. Transforming the MPA to ensuring that it represents the man of your view and excels and expose a whole lot of things. So I just wanted to encourage you to be courageous and then focus. There will be obvious criticism that parents are noted of criticizing the right thing, and it has not right now against them. So now your function that is the right thing.
Thank you.
Okay, we can take a call and go back to the MD to address all of your concerns.
Excellent.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Sanako calling from Jakarta.
Yeah, let's hear you.
My brother Google, you want to really layer. That man was there. That man let it be. I just only get you very low. God bless you, my son.
Thank you very much, MD. I will just remind you of some of the concerns.
Yes.
Congestion of the poor, invest in the growth sector.
Yes.
You know, encouraging the president to do that. Frequent travels, of course. High costs at the port, especially the freeing of containers and all that. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's just address the elephant in the room. So, Vafle, when I got preferred by His Excellency President Barker, I mean, what did they say? They said, well, I mean, I was on FBI most wanted list. I was caught with drugs all over the places. Over time, we found out to be categorically false. I've traveled 4 times out of the country. 3 were post-related, and 1 was personal travel. When you move back home and then you get a job, you're working in between, you get a job. Of course, you got to go pack your things and come back. So I consider it part of their false narrative they are trying to frame it. Now you can make the argument about education. No, you can say, oh no, he stole the put money. No, the only thing you say he traveled, which I mean, when it comes to port related work, of course it requires a lot of travel. We have on our decks right now over 10 invitations in 6 months. We didn't take all those 10 invitations, and some of those travels, I can tell you, they are not NPA didn't pay for them. My own background in the private sector, I've made a lot of money over the last couple of years for myself. And when you make a lot of money for people, for yourself, of course you reap some of the benefits. But they say I've traveled 20 times in 5 months. I mean, you do the math. That's not true. I mean, all those, like I said, the 3 travels were port related travels. The 1 were personal one. So we'll be going to Ghana with the president on Friday. I mean, they will see me on the plane again. That will be for work. We're going to the Maritime Institution. It has a graduation speech to make there. So that's false. Long story short, I mean, that's part of their narrative to frame me to be somebody who they think I'm not. But no, I'm very conscious of my travels and the decision I'm making.
They don't distract you?
No, not at all. I mean, like I said, we on our decks right now, we have the Ivory Coast or ISPS training. They will invite us to going for. Maybe we'll post that invitation on Facebook before we go. And I work for the president before I travel. I run it by him. If he's okay with it, sorry, he's okay with it. Then we go to Buchanan and port expansion. That's aspirations that we do have. Like I said, if we can get investors to help us make that happen, we will be going back to the national government. I've heard the chief talk about rebuilding this country as part of his service agenda. Infrastructure is there. And you can talk about infrastructure. Infrastructure is not only limited to roads. Port, that's where most of the money comes in. I mean, 95% of our country GDP comes through the Freeport of Monrovia. Buchanan. They are building new port in Roseville, Montserrat / Bombay County. So yeah, I mean, port expansion is definitely on the top of our aspirations. Then one of the questions was to encourage the president to invest. We'll do that.
The high cost.
The high cost. That's a little complicated. The tariff over there is mostly charged by APMT. That's not all to it. LRA, who happens to be a government institution that collect our taxes, they don't operate full time, or even they should be. If the APMT is running 24 hours, but LRA should run 24 hours, so that when ship comes in and berth, and they are discharging, and someone say, you know what, I want to take my container, I want to take it to the pay my duty. Make sure your computer systems, your Asakura system is running, so that you can print out my duty and I can pay. So what will happen will be sometimes ship coming, APM they make all their APMT payment, then LRA Asakura is down. Yeah, that's I've pointed most of the complaints I get is that then it's down, then the person continues there 2 to 3 days, then obviously they have to pay storage.
Yeah.
Okay, the truckers union, I mean, they are on our board. We are having discussions right now. The truckers make more money per container than APNT and NPA combined per container. To take one container from Freeport to maybe Broadway, or let's just say even Douala, they make more money per container than APNT and NPA combined make per container. The shipping lines, you'll find delivery order on one shipping line maybe 200. It will be 600 to the other one. It will be 900 to the other one. I've heard instances where people say even $1,500. So what I'm trying to say is those charges are high. I mean, it will require comprehensive collaboration with all government institutions, so that we can bring the cost of doing business down.
So the NPA cannot do it
by ourselves. No, we cannot do it by ourselves.
But the argument has been it undermines the influx of shipping at the port, because at the end of the day, some people will use Guinea, for example.
Use Guinea, then you have to drive through, security and all of that. Yeah, that has affected the level or the amount of business that have been driven into our economy. And there are ongoing discussions right now in between us, Commerce, the Stephen Dory Association, the Truckers Association, and the Brokers Association, making sure that at least all those cost buckets are put into one, and then we can see how we can streamline some of those and reduce it. But yeah, President campaign on making sure that cost of doing business, cost of living are reduced is the right thing to do. That's why we're there, and then we'll do those. It will take some time, but we believe that we'll be able to achieve those by the end of the day.
Well, MD, is there anything you want to say before we take leave of you?
Yeah, Daniel talked about courage and education. When I meet with a lot of young people in the country, I mean, people say I'm a youth, but I don't think so. I like to encourage them to just do your best. Listen to your parents at home and do your best. I mean, it's my story today. It's our story today. It can be you tomorrow. If I'm sitting here, just from your name, it sounds like we all come from similar backgrounds. If you can be in the studio today, a child in Lofa or in Bapolo, you aspire to come here.
Yeah,
you won't do it if you don't prepare yourself. So courage and education, and don't get distracted. Our country is nasty. We don't like good people. I mean, the president comes in, inherits something that's very messy. They blame him to not fixing it in 5 to 6 months. That's not fair. We should give each and every one of ourselves the fair chance to do well. So if it's my time today, please pray for me and support me.
And lastly, maybe I'll have to ask you, does the NPA do this corporate social responsibility?
We do corporate social responsibility, yes.
Charitable work.
Yes. We have a budget line for that. We've been squad. People have been reaching out to us. I don't know if you remember what happened in Kinjo, Grand Cape County months ago. We were able to reach out to that community and spoke to them in our own library where we can't speak to them. We spoke to them. And we have a lot of requests on our decks. You can tell, I mean, the economic situation in our country are dire. So we've been responding to those bit by bit, I mean, as they come in.
Well, MD, it's been a pleasure having this 1 hour sit down with you and understanding your vision.
Yes.
We hope to do this frequently to understand the progress that you're making.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for being on the Super Morning Show.
Thanks for having me on Vafle. Thanks to your crew, your team. This is beautiful. I will be a permanent guest there.
Yeah, thank you.
Just to be the first and the last. Thank you. I'm honored by your invitation and look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you very much. Very energetic. Managing Director, National Port Authority there, just putting in context his vision and so much ambitious plan and thankfully he has the backing of the executive, the president. The newest sensation on the block is his contribution to the national budget, $2 million in the split of 5 months. That's huge. My name is Vafle Kamara. You can join the Super Morning Show team tomorrow for another fascinating presentation. Bye-bye.